Usman finally spoke up, and I was so glad that he did. A lot of people want to hear from Usman, and Dana White has opened the door tremendously for Usman to go over and get a big push, particularly as of late. Dana's come out and said, man, that when this whole story's done, this guy's not going to just go down as a great welterweight. He's going to go down as a great fighter of all time. I mean, Dana is opening the door big, letting Usman know, no matter how much you might have been overlooked in the past, man, it's not happening now. And I want to make sure that Usman hears that. I want to know that when Dana's saying these things about it, this is the opening for, hey, come through the door. We watched a whole new coat of paint get put over a guy named Jorge Masvidal, who used to just be Jorge Masvidal. Now he's known as the biggest star in the sport. Speaking of Jorge Masvidal, one of the things that Usman did recently, he called out Masvidal. Now, I liked it because it was very interesting to me. Masvidal did not win a round against Usman, according to 2 of the 3 judges, and only won 1 round against Usman, according to 1 of the judges. These are the same judges, of course, don't forget, that thought Volkanovski beat Max, so you take that how you will. But for Usman to call out Masvidal was very surprising, but he gave a reason why. He gave a reason why, which is I had a broken nose going into that fight. And I'm sitting back and going, okay, wait a second. So what's your argument here, Usman? That the one judge that thought you lost 1 of the 5 rounds, is that the problem? Was that the broken nose? You want to make sure no judge, like what can Usman do better? That's what I'm asking. What is it about that fight that ever went against Usman? And why is it that he thinks he needs to do it again when nobody even knows what that one judge was looking at? Usman won all 5 rounds. What is it that he wants to fix his nose and go out there and do it again for? Why? Does it matter? I mean, in all honesty, does it matter? I want to see Usman and Masvidal do anything. I'll watch them in a bake-off right now, and I'll pay to do it. So if they want to fight, and I've always liked what Masvidal said. I've always thought it was very compelling when Masvidal said, I learned everything I need to learn. Give me a training camp and put me back in. I'll take this guy out. I thought it was very interesting because I know there's a part of you that's going to go, Chael, how do you not see through it? Usman just wants the biggest payday. Okay, fine. Sure. But Masvidal doesn't. Masvidal is the big payday. So Masvidal really does believe, and if he's willing to go put it all on the line and go face or suffer a second defeat at the hands of the same guy, if he's willing to put that, and it's not about more money. Masvidal's bringing the money, right? Masvidal's bringing the checkbook. Whoever he fights. He wants to fight the guy the 2 of the 3 judges think just shut him out. But he wants a training camp. He wants to use what he learned. That's very interesting. I mean, that's a very interesting fight, particularly in a division that is forming. Masvidal is going to have to do something, would be my belief. He's going to have to do something before he gets back in there with Usman. Like if Usman goes out and beats Burns, just use that as an example. That's between those 2. Usman goes out and beats Burns. I don't believe that Masvidal is going to have a strong enough tailwind to come in and just go and get that same fight, a rematch of a fight, which at that point would be a 1.5 years later. I don't think so. Particularly with the head of steam that Chimaev, should he get over on Leon, is going to be coming in with. I think Usman's going to have to do something. Which I think, again, is where that Colby Covington piece comes in. But it's really, I'm kind of digressing. I'm more looking at the fact that Usman is speaking up. Oh, by the way, said something very interesting. Every time Usman says something, it's interesting. He just doesn't do enough. And the door is open. Dana going out to a press conference and saying, man, this guy is going to not only go down as a great welterweight, he's going to go down as one of the great fighters of all time. That's an olive branch. That's an offering. It's now Usman's job to accept that, right? Dana dropped the rope down. Now Usman's got to climb up it, but I feel as though he is. And even if it was on accident, I felt that calling out Masvidal and stating the reason why, because all the talk was around Masvidal. Masvidal took all the credit. Usman did the same thing. Masvidal didn't know he was going to fight Usman. Usman didn't know he was going to fight Masvidal. Usman did the same thing and won. but Masvidal left with all the credit. Very similar. Mike Tyson fights Roy Jones Jr. The fight's a draw. Mike Tyson leaves with all the credit. All the headline, all the story in the next mega fight. We don't even know if Roy Jones will get in the ring again. They did the same thing. They did the exact same thing and got the exact same result, a draw. So, I mean, sometimes, right? Sometimes 2 + 2 doesn't equal 4. It's all how you play it after the fact. It looks as though at least a glimmer of hope that Usman's going to start playing the game that he is the best at in the world. It looks as though there's a chance Usman starts playing. I hope he does.